you've transitioned us over into your other hat, which is that prenatal to 5. So that's great with the early experiences. And Patrick had mentioned about the non-adequate maternal care, the prenatal care. Why is that so important? Can you expand on what Patrick was talking about with the importance of this?
Sure. Patrick actually hit the nail right on the head with the access to prenatal care, and it's an issue that I applaud the report in the groups committed to. I think I would, in addition to what Patrick said, I think it highlights the issues of disparities, based on one's social, economic, and environmental backgrounds, and if I can be so bold as to say, even some of the historical discriminations based on ethnic, racial, or gender backgrounds. We have to add that to the dialogue when we're really trying to think about community level, systems level solutions where everybody has an opportunity to come to the table and really meaningfully turn the corner. Because this is not a moral issue. This is an historical discriminatory issue as well.
Thanks, David.
Yeah.
One of the things as we were going through this process this past year about the collective impact and doing deeper dives into these conversations, it's having conversations with people with lived experiences. It's talking to some of these women that didn't have the prenatal care or had it very late to find out why. Was it transportation? Was it that you couldn't get off of work? Is it that you had other kids at home and you couldn't get to the appointment? What are the reasons? So the index doesn't go into what are the reasons again, but it is to hope that people in this room say, we need to do a deeper dive and find out what that is and what's the reason behind this challenge. Now, on to preschool. I was disappointed when I was looking at the data comparing 2000 and 2017. The preschool enrollment of 3 and 4-year-olds in the Valley declined from 57 to 53%. And in 2017, the state's comparable number was actually 64. So you can see we are quite a bit below that. And a couple of questions, David, come to mind for me. Why is this percentage decreasing in the Valley? What are some of those barriers? And what are the consequences in our schools when some children are ready to learn and others haven't had the exposure of a class-like setting?
Great question. Let me start with preschool. Number one, preschool is not universally accessible like kindergarten and 12th grade is. And the average rate you'll see in this newly published report for preschool childcare access is $225 per week. Number two, let me highlight infant toddler childcare access. So when I say infant toddler, I'm talking about 6 weeks to 3 years old. The average cost is $244 per week, and in certain communities, you see that average soar well over $300 per week for infant toddler care. So we have an affordability issue, of course, and then also let's look at access. When you look at this newly published report, what I underscored and noted was that there are 670 infant toddler seats available in the region. And when you look at the population data in this report, what this means is for every 6 infant toddlers, there's only 1 space available for families to access. When you think about quality childcare so working families can go to work, well, 5 out of 6 don't have an option here in this region. So there's a significant resource deficit, not only in affordability, but as well as access, specifically within that birth to 3 continuum. And I'll give you an example. So you look at a young family. I talked about a mom and dad with 2 children earlier. So picture mom and dad. They have an 18-month-old and they have a 4-year-old, and you'll use that cost average data in the index report. They have to find a way to pay $469 per week, which equals a total of $24,000 a year for childcare. And if I could challenge you to connect the dots to what the report shows as the region's median household income, I heard Sharon say, and I saw it in the report, the median household income is $74,400 per year. So two working parents with two children, a preschooler and 18-month-old, that's 33% of the household median income is just for childcare. I'm not even talking about housing. And many of the, housing and childcare, those are the top two. Where do you go from there? How do you have that quality of life? How do you have that sense of livelihood in pursuit of happiness when 33% of your working income for working mom and dad is getting absorbed by childcare? That's a challenge. It's a significant problem, and it gives clear implications for families struggling to meet ends meet.
Thank you. Thanks, David.